everybody! I've got a great new recipe in the works, but I need a little more time to dial it in and make sure that everyone's gonna love it. So today I'm gonna do a little product review. We're gonna find out if this maple blueberry sausage kit actually makes a lovable link. So let's get started. The good people at PS Seasoning reached out and asked if I'd like to try one of their kits. They didn't ask me to make a video or advertise in any way, they just offered to send me a kit to try, so why not? I'm down for freebies. So they've sent me this intriguing Blueberry Maple Breakfast Link kit. I haven't used a kit like this in many years, but I definitely used my share of them in the early days of my ascent to the throne. Let's take a look at what we've got here. Like I said, this comes to us from PS Seasoning, established in 1986, and I don't know about you, but those established dates at some point in life go from wow to wow. That makes me feel old. But we've got some nice attractive packaging here, and this is a 10-pound batch. I will likely just do half of that today. There is a little bit of salt leakage from the bottom. It did get a little roughed up in shipping, so we'll see what that came from when we get into this. And this is very nice looking here. Skip the meat market and learn the old world tradition of sausage making with this kit. Each package contains seasoning, casings, and instructions for a 10-pound batch sausage. You'll be cranking out high-quality sausages in no time. Wow! There's our directions. And let's take a look at the ingredients in this kit. We've got maple sugar, which is made from cane syrup, maple syrup, and natural maple flavoring, which is essential if you want your sausage to actually taste like maple. And I went over that in a Maple Breakfast Link video that I made a while back. We've got salt, dextrose, spices, and natural flavors, as well as blueberries, sugar, and sunflower oil. It's a fresh sausage, so there is no nitrate in here. And there's nothing on here that I wouldn't use myself. So that's a good start. Now, let's take a look at what's in the box. Ooh, those are big blueberries, bigger than I expected. It looked like some good dried blueberries there. We've got our spices here, which is not where the salt came from, so that's good. I'm gonna imagine that came out of the casings. Well, natural sheep casings. That is a big plus in my book. I don't actually see it leaking anywhere, but that has to be where this salt in the box came from, but they should still be fine. I always prefer natural casings to collagen casings for this type of sausage, but they can be a little delicate and a little more tricky to use. So, looks like we've got all our essentials. We just need to bring the meat to the party. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's bringing the meat to the party. Surprise! Now, this recipe calls for all pork shoulder or butts, or a combination of 6 pounds of wild game and 4 pounds of pork. And I'm just gonna assume that's very fatty pork in that combo, like pork belly. So for the test today, I'm gonna do the all pork shoulder method. So the first thing I'll do is get this deboned and weighed up. And we'll chunk it up, and I'll pop those chunks into the freezer for a little while to firm up. And in the meantime, I will get those sheep casings soaking, because they're going to take at least an hour to rehydrate. Now I've got some ice cold meat. It's firmed up a little bit, and this recipe calls for a double grind. First, through a 3/8 inch plate, 10 millimeter would be the closest to that. And second, through a 1/8 plate, and 3 millimeters is going to get you closest to that. So we are ready to grind this, so let's break out gnarls and grind up this Fruity Frank. So here are all of our ingredients for the sausage. I've got their spice blend, and it does have a pretty nice aroma coming off there. The blueberries look really good. They're real big. Give those a try. Nice, strong blueberry flavor. Nothing funky at all about those. And then just a little bit of water to help with the mixing. So the directions are just to mix this together for 3 to 5 minutes until it gets a little bit tacky. You don't really have to mix the heck out of a fresh sausage like you would a smoked sausage. And then we can move right into stuffing. Oh, that's starting to look how we want it. Getting that shaggy look. And the reason you want to stir it until you start getting it shaggy is that lets you know you're extracting some protein from the meat. And that's going to give you a little better bind in your sausage. Well, that looks about right to me. Time to move on to stuffing. My meat is all mixed up, ready to go, and it is very aromatic, smells really nice, and that is getting me excited to try this sausage. I've got my rehydrated sheep casings here, and when you're making a sausage that you're going to turn into links, you want to use a stuffing horn that is a bit smaller than your casing, and that is going to help keep you from overstuffing those casings, and that way you'll be able to make your links easier without having any of them burst. I've got these silicone eggs that I use for clearing the last bits of meat out of the stuffer, and of course, my air pocket controller is on duty.
He's a bad dude.
So now, it is time to lock and load and crank out this blueberry banger. Now that is a beautiful big batch of blueberry brats. These things look great. The casings did very well. I'm impressed with their sheep casings. A lot of sheep casings are so delicate that you're going to get some breakage. But if that is the case, they've given you plenty of casings in this kit to cover any issues you're going to have. I'll take these out, I'll resalt them, and they'll be good to use again. Now these are ready to go. However, it's not specified in the directions, but I'm going to let these things rest for a while to rehydrate those blueberries all the way. And then we're going to fry up a batch of these and see how we did. And now it is finally time to try these out. They really look great. Ooh, hey now. Check out that bite. The texture is really nice. Goes down smooth and silky. But that comes from the cut and that fine grind. And have I said enough how much I appreciate the natural casings in this kit? These sheep casings have a nice light pop to them, and they are just holding in a whole bunch of juicy juice. The look and the texture of this are spot on. Of course, what really matters is the taste. And that is very good. It's got that familiar kind of sagey, timey flavor of a breakfast sausage, but also a little sweetness, and I'm not the biggest fan of sweetmeats. I'm a spicy guy, I like spicy sausage, but this isn't overly sweet, and it's balanced very well with that savory. I also really like that it is not too salty. And then you get a nice little burst of brightness when you bite into one of those blueberries. It's very nice. If there is one thing that I think could make this just a tiny bit better, let's try this. Yeah, for me, just some little specks of more coarsely ground black pepper within this would make that about perfect. But that is personal preference. It's very, very good on its own. And you could add some black pepper right into the mix when you're mixing it up. Overall, that is a great semi-homemade sausage. I wasn't actually familiar with this company before they reached out, only because I'm into coming up with my own spice blends. But this is a third-generation, family-owned and operated company, and I like that. And they're based in Wisconsin, which is big sausage country, and I like that as well. Seem like good people. And this is more than a pretty box. It is a great sausage kit, no matter your experience level. It's about as quick and nearly as easy as it gets, and the sausage is fantastic. So whether you're just getting started making sausage, or you're an old salt like me, give this one a try, and I know you're gonna love it. Thanks for watching.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
I don't usually go for traditional breakfast food, so I wonder what else I could use this for. good cornbread kit too.